100 discs, one winner. The biggest giveaway in disc golf history.
Hello everyone and welcome back to coverage of the 2025 Krokhol Open. Just south of Oslo, Norway, we have amazing conditions, sunny, slightly gusty for this round 1 back 9 MPO feature card coverage brought to you by MDG Media. I'm Connor Wood and with me, Elias Luukkonen.
What's up Connor, what's up viewers? Nice to be here once again for the back 9. If you didn't catch the front, please do it before continuing through the back. This is your last chance to see how the guys played on the front. They actually all played very solid. I feel like this is the first time this season we have a great feature card where everybody is playing solid. 4 under, 4 under, 4 under, and the lone 2 under from the local Knut, Valen, Håland. Not necessarily a local as far as where he lives in Norway, but still the countryman of the people. All of the live audience are cheering him on as we're continuing the round on hole number 10. A downhill 126 meter hole. You have some serious decisions to make on this hole. There is the both backhand wide hyzer, forehand wide hyzer available, and also this straight to just slightly right turning shot. I'd say the backhand wide hyzer is the most consistent shot to park the hole, but it's also the riskiest one as you're going over trees that are fully in OB. A lot of bogey potential here and tricky winds. We really couldn't know what direction the wind was coming from.
For both of the available hyzer options, a driver is the most common play. This is a long hole, although significantly downhill for the pure hyzer requires a lot of power. Knut, fantastic execution on the backhand hyzer. For the backhand straight shot shaping the turnover, you can go with a much lower speed disc as the hole plays not as long with the downhill. It's more about controlling your angles than throwing something far flying. Exactly well demonstrated there by Mr. Richard Wysocki.
I believe just going with an approach disc there on that straight line. Isaac looking to do something similar. Once again, a hole that really suits his throwing angle, I think. That flat release with a slight nose down, and look at the kick. It was gonna be alright with no kick, but a bad kick would have ended up in an OB result.
Gannon very high and very wide, although it looks quite solid. Right up there next to Knut's. 4 fantastic demonstrations of how to get onto the green in this hole. Isaac kicks us off with a great birdie putt, putting his round now to 5 down. A solid pace, knowing that 8 down is the hot round in the clubhouse. When we push into this back 9, that is the score to beat, to make, or even match, to make lead card in round 2.
We are quickly approaching a star frame on hole number 10. Quite impressive stuff here. A lot can go wrong on this hole. So much OB. The wind being unpredictable. How's the scoring average on this one?
The scoring average would suggest it's a well-designed hole averaging 2.98, effectively a perfect par 3. This hole, although certainly averaging much higher than hole 10, hole 11, a 149 meter par 3, although slightly downhill, playing a little bit less than that, shaping most naturally for a backhand flex, pushing this initial left tree line, turning over into this tunnel here, and finding a late fade onto the green. Alternatively, players can also go with a huge hyzer over the right side. There is almost a second fairway behind the tree line on the right that can give you some sort of look to manufacture. This is once again great display of preferred shot shape. We know for Knut that is the hyzer. And it's also a display of their risk management. How aggressive do they want to get, and what sort of distance are they willing to concede taking on a tricky par 3?
Knut, the hyzer is mostly a safe play. You can't really park the hole. You can get inside of circle 2 with a hyzer if you get through some trees. This is the play though if you want to be inside the circle. Ricky throwing it pretty well. I don't know what happened on the tee pad. He looked very unbalanced in the follow through for some reason. Maybe almost stepping over the tee pad.
This one overturned by Isaac. The stability not able to be found in time, crashes the tree line. Although significant enough progress, I think he should have a scramble opportunity. Gannon has so much power. In recent seasons, has even been claiming he's getting more and more power each year. You see that on display, an absolutely booming hyzer going long and left.
I really like that high shot for the further throwing players, as it really takes out the risk of a bogey on this hole. Just as I'm saying that, Knut clearly in bogey position with a big hyzer. So that is a good approach. It's going to be putting from close distance for par.
Ricky for the elusive birdie. And you saw he wanted to walk it in, but had his senses tingling there that that was not going to make it. Just slips out the left. We go now to Gannon. Looking back at the green. The rare Buhr layup, I think. Good choice for him considering the drop off behind and his compromised gap.
And that's, besides hole 3, I believe the only miss that Knut really should be worried about in this round. As we mentioned on the front, a very good putter. Really hard to shine on this group as being a good putter, as Isaac being one of the most casual great spin putters of all time. Ricky generally just one of the best longevity great putters of all time, and Gannon possibly one of the greatest putters at the moment on tour. As we're moving on to a beautiful, beautiful par 4. 267 meters, but you can already see the basket off the tee. Fairway is dead straight, though a lot of players are throwing something towards the right side with an overstable finish. Really want to push that right side tree line with an overstable disc. If you do that, you're pretty much always going to be in the middle of the fairway. And from there, the approach is still very far. Usually a good shot gets you to about 120 meters away from the basket. Second shot is straight to slightly right turning. A lot of players going for a straight mid-range. A lot of players even going for a straight fairway driver.
That is certainly enough there for Ricky. That nose-down angle often contributing to a bit more ground play than we saw from his shot on the pure hyzer. Isaac not pleased with this, although I think it'll certainly play. Just comes up a little bit short, and I mentioned the nose angle was a touch high, contributing to him fading out left, and also with not as much distance as I'm sure he would like to be seeing.
This one looks lovely from Gannon, pushing that right side tree line. Not the furthest of shots. There's that OB on the right side that comes into play if you push it about 15 meters further than what Gannon did. So possibly trying to just not contend with that OB line. And Knut also getting a big skip. He's gonna be just barely on the fairway though. So unlike Isaac, I think Knut has a slightly better angle. This one has to be really tight to the left side with a flip up.
Honestly, a super impressive result given his position. That is a reasonable putt, well within his range from what many would consider to be a position that brings birdie out of play. He's done enough to get a look. We go now to Gannon, shaping a turnover here through the gap. The PD doing great work for him. Just
insane.
so smooth. Makes this hole look so simple for what is a long, treacherous par 4.
I'm mostly impressed with the angle control with a 10-speed disc. You know, 10-speed discs, they tend to fade quite a lot. He's just able to throw that disc so straight. And Ricky, very commonplace to land. I feel like turning it over on this hole, it's slightly better than fading out too early. As the right side, you have a safe putt uphill. Let's see Knut. He loves the hyzer angle out of the hand. As you get the flip up, not quite. So he's gonna have a long look from, I believe, about 16 meters.
Knut with the long bid into the band. We see really though his confidence on the putting stroke. Everything is online, everything is high enough.
Talking about high enough. The gust of wind getting inside of the head of Isaac Robinson. Let's see if it does the same to Ricky. Has been looking very good on the green so far and continuing on that same path. I don't think a lot of people in that gallery were surprised, and I believe 0 people in this commentary team were surprised.
One of the most natural looking putters from that distance, early circle 2, looking for Ricky, looking like circle 1 for other people. Gannon, such a good thrower, hasn't really had that many long putts here in this round. Is able to clean up his C1s effectively. Both Ricky and Gannon now matching the 6 under each of them has set through the first 12.
Isaac, not really his sharpest day on the putting green. I believe that's already the second short-ish miss that we have seen from him.
We are outside.
We are together.
Oh my!
We are healthy. We are inclusive.
Smile.
Smile. You are playing
This goal.
PDGA Europe.
Smile.
We are playing disc golf here on hole 13, a 96-meter par 3. It is not an island hole, but very much feels like one. Truly a peninsula hole. You have water lining the left side the entire way, as well as long and an OB line to the right. This is a great hole because players can shoot a backhand, forehand, understable, or overstable shot. It really comes down to the thrower's preference. How are you able to shoot a 96-meter straight shot and land yourself softly on this mounded green? The forehand hyzer, one of the safest shots.
Ricky there, judging by the claps, did stay on that hillside. Forehand hyzer, otherwise, really, I think the best option, but it does have a bit of a roll away potential. As Gannon playing very safe on that right side, safe on the drive, extremely unsafe on the putt. He's gonna have an 11-meter putt, looking directly at some water, even OB. If not water, it's definitely gonna be OB. If he airballs that putt from there.
Knut plays the backhand and some more Norwegian love. Incredible to filter through there and get the result that he did. Not his intended line. I'm sure his intended result, however. And Isaac looking to copy him, but he is not Norwegian.
A pretty fortunate kick though, even though Isaac is gonna be challenging the OB line. If he got really lucky, he might have actually stayed safe there. And look at this. Gannon, a putt that would be scary, I'd say, for about 95% in the field. Just making it look easy. And look at this. Isaac, I think he must have stayed safe as we didn't see a OB graphic. Pitching out and might just have the most fortunate par possible on this hole.
Well done by Ricky, securing the birdie here. And I would also assume Isaac was in bounds, as I think any meter from OB wouldn't leave him with the stance that he had there. Hole 13 averaging just over par at 13.04. However, 37% of the field was able to birdie it.
And interestingly enough, the hardest C1X putting hole on the course. A lot of people missing their short putts on this one makes a lot of sense. I'd also imagine that a number of only 55% of C1X putts made comes at least partly from people laying up from around 9 meters. As we're moving on to another just beautiful yet quite simple par 3. Similar shape to the last hole. Actually, I would see a lot of players throwing the same exact disc or same exact shot on this hole, especially if they were going for the forehand on the last. Plays beautiful for a nice fairway driver flat to hyzering forehand. Backhand line, backhand hyzer is available, backhand turnover is available. And really surprising to see Ricky not go with the forehand.
What many would consider for Ricky a simple forehand hyzer, he proves is also a simple backhand. Slides his way into the circle there. Flat landing, very smooth.
Good down.
Gannon, there is the, I believe the same disc that he threw on the last. Just putting a slightly too much juice on it. Gannon, a player that I feel like his forehand form is very smooth. It doesn't look like he's just absolutely ripping the disc, but has a lot of distance on that forehand of his. As here come the backhand players. Isaac, I love his line here. Needs to slow down though. He has done it. Beautiful control on hole number 14. A hole which can also eat your disc in the pond, just like the last hole. I had the first-hand experience of swimming in both of these ponds for discs. It's not the most pleasant experience. There's a couple of missed putts here. Ricky looking to correct on the other's mistake. Beautiful. Once again looking down at a drop-off behind the basket. Not phased.
Another very high putt from Knut. Well done though to secure the par. Both Ricky and Gannon bogey free in this back 9 so far. Isaac able to push himself back to 5 under, a very respectable pace. Still has the holes remaining to find himself on lead card here in day 2. Would only need to birdie 3 of the remaining 4. Here, however, a long, winding par 5. Hole 15 sits at 300 meters. You have this initial gap over the trees with OB lining left and right the entire way. This is a hole which will test the athlete's ability to chip away clean, safe progress and distance. You have this central barrier defining a left or right fading shot. To get around it, you continue your way as it then begins to slope softly downhill and then back uphill to a green sloping significantly right to left. At 300 meters, you could, in theory, throw just a putter or mid-range 3 times and then get your birdie. However, we see a lot more people trying to bite off a little bit of extra distance and sometimes pay the price.
Ricky holding a slow disc here, so definitely agreeing with what Connor just said there. Like the slight overstability here. You do have that hillside on the left side of the fairway to stop your disc if you're fading a little bit too far left. I do think that the most common play here is going to be a fairway driver off the tee, then potentially a fairway driver or a mid-range on the second. hopefully setting up for just a putter shot on the third. But of course, such a long hole, you're gonna have a lot of variety in your position of where you end up after first and second shot.
Fortunate result for Gannon. That could have been much worse. Kicks both in bounds, but also has enough progress to absolutely still have birdie in play. Knut with a faster disc in his hand, playing the hyzer flip down the right side, similar to Gannon, filters back. And we see Ricky outdriving both of them with the slow disc. Worth mentioning there.
Yeah, Ricky, while not being an old man, arguably the most experienced player on the card, has been playing on the very top level in the world from about year 2011-12.
I'm gonna tell Ricky you called him an old man.
Bet he would appreciate this. I feel like Ricky is actually younger than a lot of people think. A lot of people think that he's the same age as Paul Macbeth, while being actually significantly younger by, I believe, a few years. So we're seeing the second shot. This is the common landing zone for the second shots. Both of those are actually even slightly short of the absolute prime area. So I think Ricky is going to try to go a little bit further. This is really low.
And you see it land in a very similar spot. Despite having a longer drive than Gannon, they are effectively side by side. We go to Isaac now, choosing between the left and right of this central obstacle, goes to the right, gets that late fade back. It's a little bit more of what you might expect in terms of landing zone after 2. Still a lot of work left for the other 3 players. Gannon taking a look at just how much is remaining. We go first to Knut.
I'm gonna play Gannon's rangefinder 103 meters from here. Knut! Bad miss. You really have to miss right if you miss somewhere on this hole. There's a lot of space on the right side, even though it's a scary putt. Not that much trouble with the OB. And Ricky also needs to settle with the fade.
Oh, it's safe. Spotter gives the green flag. Ricky has already turned his back, frustrated with that result. Gannon here, opting for the forehand.
Every year, dude.
He says every year. Gannon himself has said that historically he has been playing holes 15 through 18 poorly. That shot, however, locks him into a very short putt. He has done quite well.
I think he thought it was wide off the release, but it was just on the edge of being perfect slash wide as Isaac stays in bounds. I'm not a world champion, but I do question his choice of going with a very overstable disc there. I don't really understand the reason, as the danger is definitely left.
I would agree with both the slope as well as the OB. Left is really the only mistake to make on this green. The other is to miss the putt after going out of bounds. Fires well past it. We go to Ricky now. We touched that on this distance. He just looks so effortless. And I did not know that was going in, but you just have a feeling with this guy when he steps up to C2 putts. There's some magic in the air. He's put together 4 in a row and 5 birdies through the last 6 holes.
If you think this play by Ricky is impressive, you should check last year's coverage, as he was absolutely destroying the course in the first 2 rounds. He's definitely a player that I feel like excels specifically in Europe. There's something about the courses that really suits him.
Hey guys, quick break. In addition to the first MPO feature card, we are also producing the second MPO feature card this week and next week in Krokhol. The full rounds will be available through our YouTube Premium subscription. If you want to support us and also enjoy some more content, go check it out.
We are moving on to the island hole. And not only the island hole, as there are a few island holes on this course. This one being a par 3, 115 meters. With no wind, I would say this hole is a pretty easy, straight to stable putter shot. But with the gusty winds that we had today, a lot of people are going with something more overstable. Try to put it to the right and fade to the fat part of the green, just on the left side of the basket. The tricky part about this hole is any OB goes into a drop zone that is about 60 meters away and actually not a gimme up and down. So very important to be safe here, even if that means being a little bit left of the basket. That is not gonna be good for Ricky. Doesn't miss on the right side, which is the left side on this hole. Gannon also turns it over. Really surprising misses from both of these guys.
Hole 16 requiring such good precision. Isaac as well. This needs a lot of work left. Oh, and it's so close, and in fact sits on top of Ricky's disc in the water. Somehow so poetic that they both find each other in out of bounds. Knut, a chance to settle the score with hole 16 for our feature card.
This needs to slow down, and it does. Beautiful angle control, landing flat, not getting any extra skips. As our American world champions and future world champions are going to the drop zone. As I said, it's an easy shot, but not a gimme up and down, as a lot of players are actually leaving this a little bit short, because you really don't want to go to that long side OB.
Exactly as Gannon has done there. Hole 16 playing as the third most difficult hole on the course, averaging 3.31, a third of a stroke over par. Isaac with a great bid, just shy of throwing it in, and so impressive to give it such a close run and settle it inbounds short of the OB. Going out to the green, neither of those two discs have yet been swept away by that soft brook current. And just some cleanups now here for these guys.
Man, we need some ASMR from this hole. I felt some tingles from the water flowing. That's just beautiful. I bet Knut likes it, tapping it in for the only birdie on the hole. Everybody else taking the bogey. Of course, it's round one. You're not really playing against the players on your card, as everybody on the field could be shooting hot at any moment. But it does still feel good in a special way when everybody else is struggling. You just take that nice lone birdie.
We move on to hole 17, 230 meter par 4, OB lining the left and right side, throwing over the green of the previous hole. We get towards this narrowing in the center as it then breaks out into this open landing zone, leading you to an island green. It is very common for an imperfect tee shot to lay up and then cross over on the third, as anything that is not in a perfect tee position will leave you with a very tricky shot to a very fast green that is not particularly big. Being mounded in the center, anything that comes in on hyzer to the edge will quickly skip and roll. A premium drive goes a long way here to make that upshot easy.
Premium drive goes a long way, and a premium drive goes a long way on this hole, as distance does help you make that upshot much easier. And Ricky not looking great on this shot. Does he get the roll back? Incredibly fortunate.
I think anything other than that single boulder left side would not have allowed him to come back in bounds, but that is disc golf right there. Gannon, significant turn early in the release, flat to soft and hyzer. Unclear if a spectator kept him out there, but you see that he absolutely hates it. And with a bogey on 16, potential bogey here on 17 now as well. The prophecy, which he himself said is coming true, that final stretch of holes historically has not been kind for him.
Not really kind on anybody on our card, as this is looking really bad for the feature card. And Gannon actually, he's not only playing for position, but also the last spot on the lead card, as everybody else is finished in the field. These guys know that they have to shoot at least 8 under to get to that lead card. So Gannon 7 under now, gonna be saving a par after that phenomenal shot. Still has a chance for that lead card spot for round 2.
Knut looking to skip in. Really well done. Controls the height, controls the stability. Utilizes that late skip. Isaac here looking to get through the trees and does not make it. Was never even particularly close. Ricky with the most traditional way into the green. Pure forehand hyzer into the left side to slow it down.
That is very much a Ricky shot. I would take him over almost anybody in the world for that shot specifically. And some of you guys might remember this hole being hole number 18 in 2023 Krokhol Open. If you haven't seen that coverage, you can watch it on MDG Media. Just 2 years back, we saw Bradley Williams, Paul Macbeth battle on almost the same course. Although not exactly the same, as this hole number 18 is new for last year and now we're playing it again. Beautiful finishing hole, 303 meters, par 5, playing downhill off the tee. Plays great for a straight to overstable, flat to hyzer shot. You just want to put yourself on the golf fairway, put yourself in play. Same thing on the second shot. Want to throw a big hyzer to the left side of this pond. Set yourself up for a short approach for an easy birdie, or if you're feeling extremely aggressive after your perfect tee shot, you can definitely go for the eagle on this hole. Second shot is also very far downhill, so even though the distance is probably 160 meters as far as the direct distance to the basket, but so far downhill that it's definitely reachable even with a fairway driver.
Knut very dynamic on his swing, has a large range of motion, really puts his body into it. We see that one curl up just in time, utilizing the full width. Being on the left will open up that second shot a little bit more.
Ricky likes the low flat shot, but I bet he doesn't like this shot in specific. A pretty bad miss on this hole. I'd say if you have to miss somewhere, you want to miss rather to the left than to the right. Because if you go OB left, you still have a great shot at par. Gannon, perfect position.
Isaac very central in the landing zone. No real danger at any point throughout the flight. Great shot of Ricky there walking down the final hole. Sitting at 9 under right now. If he could just finish with a par, would be enough to solidify his lead card.
Hard to say if that shot was actually OB or not. Graphic says it's OB, but it's really difficult on this hole to understand where that sort of middling OB goes, as it's such a rare spot to land. This is way more common from Knut. Left side of the pond, wide part of the fairway. That's what you like to see.
Isaac airs it out. Two very nice shots from him. A simple execution on an otherwise complex hole. But it does reward playing inbounds and in the fairway. Gannon doing the same as Isaac here. I'd like to see this on a simple one-angle hyzer. Needed to move left, and it did. Anything that flips up there introduces a lot of additional danger. And Ricky now in a very strange spot. Throwing his 5th.
Very manageable up and down here. Going for the basket even. Look at this. Beautiful shot. He has a short putt to finish with just a single bogey. And if he makes that, he's also going to stay on the lead card. So Gannon has a chance to get that birdie, move to 8 under. Ricky has a chance to make that putt, also move backwards to 8 under. As Knut there with some impressive jump putt distance, showing off that Norwegian wrist of his.
Gannon chips his hyzer up there. Will be tapping the birdie to finish at 8 under.
I'm not going to float it, there's no way.
Isaac now first with the putt. Smooth. And Elias, I believe we misspoke. Given that controversial OB, Ricky is actually here on the green. Putting for a 7 double bogey. Just like that, dropping him from -9 to -7 for the round, 1 stroke shy of the lead card in round 2.
Yeah, there you go. That's a rough finish. I mean, Ricky was looking so in control, having 6 birdies on the back 9. Impressive stuff, but just not able to keep it together at the end. As Gannon, all of a sudden, he's gonna be the leader from our featured card, not the leader of the tournament though.
Gannon Buhr, 8 down, 1063 rated opening round here at Krokhol. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was definitely windier than we were expecting. So, you know, 8 under is nothing to be mad about. But I think because the pace I was on, I was a bit disappointed. You know, I finished even on the last 3 holes, but historically I've just played those horrible. I mean, 18. That's the first time I've ever birdied 18. And I don't think I've ever landed a bounds on 16, and I've always played 17 horrible. So I'm not sure what it is. I think it's more of a mental problem that I have to work out myself, because I think my game plan's fine. It's just execution I get in my head, and now it feels even harder for tomorrow. So, you know, I can't win this tournament unless I get those last 3 holes on dial. So I'm gonna just think about them some more, make sure I'm throwing the highest percentage plays. I wasn't super off on them today, but overall, I mean, my game felt good. I felt in control, actually, for the first time in a long time, where I actually felt like I had a pretty good control over the disc. I threw some really good shots today. I had a couple PD shots, like hole 1 and hole 12, which were just really amazing. So those are good confidence boosters, knowing that you can throw those type of shots. And I think I made the lead card, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun day. That's always my goal, is put myself in position, play in front of the big crowds, and it's going to be a pretty fun moving day.
Yeah, putting stats were good. 100% C1X, 33% C2. How are you feeling on these scary greens?
Yeah, I mean, I putted fine. I think I had a couple putts I wish I would have made, but when the wind's swirly, it's pretty tough to judge them exactly how you want to. So 100% C1 is always really good, especially when it's windy outside. I didn't have a ton of like pretty tough C1 putts, but I made the ones I had to make. And overall, yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel good about this course. I think it plays well with my game plan. You know, frankly, I didn't play that well today, and I think I can only improve from here.
That's right. 1 back of the lead going into moving day. What can we expect to see tomorrow?
Hopefully double digits. I shot at 12 under in practice, and I felt like I didn't play that good. So I think, yeah, just keep the flow going, get some confidence, and if I can get a lead early, I think I'll be able to hold it, hopefully.
Ben Callaway leading by 1 stroke. Jacob Blair, Raven Newsome joining Gannon Buhr for our 2nd round coverage. It's going to be an exciting event. You see a lot of European names just outside of our lead card. Anybody inside of top 20 is going to be in the hunt for this tournament.
There is no doubt Europe versus America here in Norway. An amazing course, the highest level of play in the world right now here on MDG Media. You can support us with a like, comment, subscribe, but also by joining us in round 2, and we will catch you there. Thank you for watching.